Hey family, what's up? This is your asset protector, and I want to share something very important with you. So, you had a death in your family. First and foremost, let me be the first to tell you that I sympathize with you and I'm sorry for your loss. That being said, as you go down to the funeral home to make funeral arrangements, and some of you never done this before, and some of you kind of you had, like myself, we've had a lot of deaths in my family. And so I'm sort of hip to the game. You just lost mama, daddy, brother, spouse, son, uncle, whatever. You have to go plan a funeral. You're hurting on the inside. You have an empty void. You feel that none of this is really happening, like you just woke up in a horror movie. But the reality is that this is no horror movie. This is the real deal. It's no script. It's no do-overs. There's no cuts. There's no take five. None of that. When you walk into the funeral home people, they're always so sweet and polite and nice. And we expect that. And I'm sure that you will come to appreciate that as much as I have. But when you're in that business office, see, the funeral is show. But before the show is the business part. That's when you have to decide how much money you're going to put into the casket, how much money you're going to put into flowers, what type of spray. Right? So you go to some of these elaborate funerals and you see that they have all of the bells and whistles. Number one, when you're planning a funeral for anybody, even yourself, your funeral should be a reflection of the life that you lived while you could. There's no need, Junebug was a crackhead, Ray Ray was a gang member. I mean, you just got to be realistic about these things, right? And then you put them in front of the church and you try to make this person look like someone who they're not. And the funeral homes are good at helping you do that. They're going to give you whatever you want. They give you a menu and say, hey, have at it. You want more flowers? Do you want a bigger casket spray? Do you want a nicer looking casket? Every time you nod your head in agreement, that calculator, they hit that calculator, tap, 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 and that price is steadily going up. Now, you know you neglected your son, and that's why your son was on the street in gangs. You weren't a good father to your child. You weren't a good mother to your son, right? Or maybe it's your parents. You disrespected your parents. You didn't listen to anything they said. Now they done got old or whatever the case might be and they dead. They ain't here no more. And now you feeling guilty. You feel bad because you should have came home to see mom and dad more. It's too late now, boss. You cannot go back and change that. It is too late. It's over. If you owed somebody some money, they owed you some money, whatever. They didn't apologize to me, all that crap. None of that is important at this point. What you're doing now is you're planning a funeral. And that's why it's good to treat people right while they're alive. Treat people right while you can. Don't wait for them to pass away and then you try to make it up at the funeral home. All you're doing is making the funeral home more money. Number one, it only costs a fraction of what you're paying. Nobody goes in business and sells something for the same thing they paid for it. But I'm telling you, they get you in these funeral homes and they marking your stuff up 800, 900 times. I'm sorry, 800, 900%. And you trying to make it up to mom or dad because you feel guilty and the funeral home is on the receiving end. It's nothing you can do for mom and dad at this point. It's over with. And there's no need to put all that money in the ground. Would you dig a hole? Would you go to the bank and take out $10,000 and dig a hole and put it in the hole if you didn't have to? Of course you wouldn't. That would be stupid. And it's also stupid to go to the funeral home and try to spend up all that money because you're trying to make things look a certain way. You can't pay their way into heaven if mom and dad wasn't right about the Bible according to Christianity and all that good stuff. If that's what you believe in, it's too late. It's too late. You can't pray nobody, preach them, or cry them into heaven. And if hell is on the menu, that's what it is. I'm just sorry just to say it that way, and I'm not trying to be ugly. What I'm trying to do is to put you on the game. And what I'm saying may sound a little hurtful, but would you rather that I tell you something that make you think, something thought-provoking, that hurts your feelings, or would you rather the funeral home drag your purse over the coal? And the truth of the matter is that half of the people that are planning funerals, they don't have any insurance, life insurance to work with. So people don't have life insurance, and then they're getting you to spend money out your pocket. Because you know Junebug had asked you to borrow $1,000 when he was living, you wouldn't do it. And now he dead, and now you want to put $10,000 in the ground. It just don't make sense. Make it make sense. I have friends that work in the funeral home that have already told me this stuff. And do you know what funeral homes say when a person died? Yes, it's called a death call. To you is your mama, your grandmama, your son, and you are hurt. You're hurting. To the funeral home, they got 5 funerals lined up that same day. And do you think they're going to get into an emotional competition with you over somebody who they didn't even know? They want your money, and then they want you to get the hell up out of there. Ain't nobody interested in all that stuff. They talking nice to you and rubbing you on the back. And oh, it's so sorry. And I'm so sad. They're not. Baby, that's how they make their money. Do you think that those people down at the crematorium are down there crying? No. They take the bodies and throw them in the fire and burn them up into ashes and then take a shovel and scoop it up. And you running around talking about, this is my mama in an urn. You don't know who that is in an urn. They don't do the proper cleaning and stuff behind that stuff. It's just bodies, they burning them up, and they scooping up some ashes and handing you the ashes, and this is what it is. If I hurt your feelings, I'm so sorry, but I hope that you will be able to put the BS aside and be able to gravitate and grasp what I'm telling you. Because I'm telling you the truth. You might be mad at me and you smiling in the funeral home people's face, but guess what? You ain't paying me nothing to make this video. And I don't have anything to lose by telling you the truth, and I'm not gaining anything by telling you the truth. What I'm doing is helping you to understand that them folks down at the funeral home is getting over on you. And you're going to have some sense and realize you cannot pay all that money out for that stuff. Really, I think funerals are crazy anyway because the person is dead, ain't even there. But this is what you wanted. And this is how you bring your closure. I get it. But in the process of you bringing your closure, don't let people use you. Don't let people rob you and take your hard-earned money or money from that life insurance policy that you could be doing something else with. Fixing the sunroom, putting new furniture in the house, right? Fixing that hole in your son's room that he punched him at. Fixing your roof that's leaking. Installing solar panels. Paying your rent that was behind before the person even passed away, or your mortgage and you about to be foreclosed. Causing you to have to uproot your kids and uproot your family, go and figure out where you're going to live at, and all this crazy stuff. Use your money wisely. Rich people spend most of their time trying to look broke, and broke people spend most of their time and their money trying to look rich. Put your money in something that's going to grow, something that's going to benefit you and your family, and don't put your money in nothing that's foolish. You know how you go to church sometimes and you hear a really good sermon? That's why some churches take up collection after the preacher preach. Why? Because after the preacher has finished preaching, now you feel guilty because you went out last night, got drunk at the club, did whatever else you didn't come straight home, went out and did whatever you decided to do. Now you feeling bad about it. You get up and you go to church and you crying and you in all this emotional turmoil because you realize that you made a fool out of yourself. And now you think because you go give $100 to the preacher in God's name, because God don't need your money, because God got everything. And that's why the preacher drives a Bentley and you drive a Honda Accord. That's why the preacher has a helicopter and an airplane, and you have to stand in line to get on the plane and take your shoes off and all of that. That's why the pastor lives in a mansion and you live with your mama or in your apartment, because I digress. I'm not even going there. This is about not allowing people to take over your emotions as it relates to funerals. Think wisely. Think wise. If you own a funeral home, you be the funeral home owner for a moment. Don't be the sad person standing up there crying, doing all that crying, right? And feeling guilty because you didn't do what you were supposed to do for that person when they were living. You be the funeral home owner. And tell me, would you break down every time a body come in? Or will you cha-ching, cha-ching? Is money. And that's all it boils down to, is money. So if you're going to be spending your money, put your money in a vehicle that's going to grow. Picture this. Your money your money gets up in the morning while you lay in the bed. And you say to your money, good morning, money. Your money then puts on a shirt and tie and suit, grab the briefcase, and go out and come back at 5:30 instead of you. Come back at 5:30 p.m. with more money than it left with. These are the principles that I'm teaching you. Not to be afraid of it or to be so caught up into what your thoughts are. What your thoughts are and what is happening in the real money world might be in opposition. So what I'm telling you now is how to leverage your money, how to level up, and how to create a better life for you and your family. Okay? That's pretty much the end of this video. I hope it hit home with you. See you on the next video. Bye for now.